because we did our, the county auditor was our fiscal agent, they did investments on our behalf. So we did not need to have our own individual investment policy, so, up until this date now.
Now, how does this balance tie back into the financial statement?
It is relatively close. A lot of it has to do with timing. So if you look at the on page 1 of the financial report, the year-to-date actual ending fund balance is about 7.6 million, a little under. So because of timing and other issues, it's not going to be on the penny, but it's around that amount. So our bank accounts are pretty close to what our financial reports, and those do tie out, and those are audited each month. So next month I'll be talking about the audit and how those tie. Anything else?
This list of banks, what does that represent?
Those are the CDARS, the certificates of deposit that are the investments that Middlefield Bank is doing on our behalf. So you can see they're right at the, right below the FDIC.
Yes, so they're all insured.
So they're all insured. So anything over that amount, then you're over that $250,000, so they're below that. So they're below that amount in order to be insured. So these are CDARS are considered really safe because of that.
Questions on banking and investments? If not, we will move on to another old business topic and a spreadsheet that will remain on our agenda. Grant updates, some of the grants that staff are working on. Just want to point out some of the newer ones. Nature Works, we've submitted a grant for $16,400 and some change for the Breed property. That is the property where we presented the master plan at the June 2022 board meeting. Hoping to find some money for the Westwoods Entry Bridge, which is in need of repair through the Municipal Bridge Programs and Guidance, which is an ODOT funded program. Scattering some Foundation for Jogga Parks grants that we've applied for. I believe all the other ones were on the spreadsheet last month. Yeah. Any questions on grants that we're pursuing? Okay. If not, we'll move on to the next old business topic, an update of the 6-year capital improvement plan for Jogga Park District. I want to point out, rather than reread some of the things you're used to, the third paragraph down on Matt's memo, where projects were prioritized, utilizing a scale of 1 to 4 based on criteria utilized by Cleveland Metro Parks for assessing capital improvements. And the things you'll see that Matt defined a priority, 1 through 4, and then he has defined that priority at the bottom. 1 is critical. Cannot defer the project. 2 is necessary, 3 is desirable, and 4 is a transformational project. So we've gone ahead over the scope of the next 6 years and defined the priority for those projects. Things like the Westwoods Bridge improvements is a priority 1. We will have to replace that bridge and so on and so forth. So, any questions about the update to the capital plan? Things like asphalt of roads and parking lots across 27 parks. Obviously, we have to prioritize those and So, there for your evaluation. Any questions on the plan? Updated by Matt? 2022 planning and operations update. All our current projects are listed there. Our in-house construction crew has virtually wrapped up the Westwoods project. The Westwoods Nature Center project will be starting soon. The Frowing Meadows Pollinator project is underway. Beaver Creek restoration is nearly complete. Veterans Legacy Woods is complete. The Lodge HVAC improvements, we will have another bid opening, I believe it's tomorrow, Daniel? Yeah, bid opening tomorrow, we'll see where we fall with that. Our construction crew is currently working at Bessie Benner Ball Park. WC Best Asphalt Improvements, the bid is forthcoming. And I already mentioned the Westwood site lighting and trail improvements. Isaiah Shipman and our construction crew did a wonderful job on the trails and the improvements at the Westwood Park. It's a quick recap for you. Any questions on our current construction projects? If not, we'll move right along. Union Chapel presentation and agreement. We invited John Full, our chief naturalist, to do a presentation on South Newberry Union Chapel. So you're up, John.
Thank you, John. Well, I want to say hello to everybody and welcome to our little presentation on the South Newberry Union Chapel. I'm happy to be here today. I've been with the park, if you haven't met me before. I'm John Kohler. I've been with the park since 2000, and I started here at the age of 6. And that's what I'm sticking with. Okay? 22 years, it's crazy. It's been a great organization to work for. And John Orles right there was one of my first supervisors. I started as a seasonal naturalist, and then over the summer I worked as a seasonal NRM intern, and this guy was supervising me the whole time, so learned a lot from him. So happy to be here. So a little history, nutshell version about the South Newberry Union Chapel. John told me about 15 or so minutes, so I'll just give you a brief overview about the history. I'll tell you, we don't do a whole lot of programs at this place. One reason, COVID kind of slowed things down a little bit over there, but in 2020, I did a presentation, which I'm going to give to you today, a little version of it, and we had about 20 people for that at the Nature Center. Parking is an issue there. We don't have a lot of space, so that's where we don't have like big programs over there. But we have a bat condominium out back of the chapel, basically a big giant bat house, which our Natural Resource Management Department oversees, and we do public bat counts there every summer. So usually we get, about 20 or so people there. So not a whole lot of programs there. I think John mentioned we do cultural history programs in the Naturalist Department, but they tend to be a little bit more, they have a connection to nature, like maple sugaring, for example, or Ansel's Cave at the Westwoods, those sort of cultural history programs. This chapel is absolutely, though, rich with history. So I'll briefly go over some of the highlights of the chapel. But as you know, in 1998, the Park District bought 16.5 acres around the Union Chapel, and in January 2010, the Park District and the Union Chapel trustees partnered to preserve the building and its history. So what makes this building so special? I mean, if its walls could talk, it would tell you just an amazing history of our community. They would reveal many stories of courage, community, equal rights, and more. This is also known as the cradle of equal suffrage and the free speech chapel. The building has a rich and powerful history, as I said. Many people consider this building to be one of the most historically significant buildings in the Western Reserve. So why was the building built in the first place? It was because of this guy. Anybody recognize this guy right here? I hope you do. This guy is President James A. Garfield. And in 1857, Garfield didn't quite look like that. He looked a little bit more like this in 1857. He was a 26-year-old teacher at the neighboring Western Reserve Eclectic Institute, which later became Hiram College, as as of today. So he was invited to speak at the local congregational church, which was called the Brick Church. And that has since burned. It is across the street from where the Union Chapel is. So he was invited to speak there. And so he headed on over there. But then he was known as one of the best orators in Ohio at the